Did you know Baldur's Gate 3 has over 174 hours of cutscenes included in the gameplay? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the txboxhub.com. For the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos and opinions, make sure you visit the txboxhub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 184. My name's Gareth Briney. I'm going to be your host. On my virtual left is Mr. Neil Watton. How you doing, Neil?
That's me again. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I've got colds. I'm a bit moody. It's cold.
Yeah.
The darkness.
I'm with you.
But we're happy today. We're all together.
I may cough and splutter through this as well.
Yeah, there you go. And on my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
Hello, Gareth. I'm doing all right, thank you. No colds or anything to report here because I have a proper immune system. I'm just finding it really hard to believe that this is episode 184. Mm-hmm. That's like 183 hours of waffle and nonsense out there on the internet.
And the worst thing about it, I've done all of those. That makes it even worse.
That's where the waffle and nonsense comes from, largely.
I had a year off.
You had a year off.
I'm all right.
Yeah. And my virtual opposite is Mr. Darren Edwards on holiday. How you doing, Darren?
Hello, yeah. It's quite warm in here because the heating's on, but not actually away. But yeah, having a nice week. I'm free of colds and flu for the time being, which is quite nice because it's been going round. So long may it continue.
Good. Let's talk about our weeks before we go into games. Neil, what have you been doing this week?
I just had some nice sausages. Me and Darren have had a conversation today about sausages, so I'd like to get your opinion on this. Butcher's sausages or hot dogs out of a tin? Which would you prefer?
To me?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Are you asking the vegetarian?
I'm asking everybody.
I thought
the vegetarian.
I thought it was for Darren. I thought we were waiting for that. I thought Darren hung up.
No, I've already got Darren's.
It's misleading because A, they weren't out of a tin. They were from the fridge. And B, I just had them. I wasn't saying that I was choosing them over butcher's sausages. I would happily have both, as I'm sure you're all aware. So
okay.
I think you protest too much, Des. We all know that you're a cheap and nasty hot dog type of guy.
Well, that is slander, and I'll be talking to HR after the podcast. Libel, actually, I think.
I'm just here. But no, other than that, just the usual week, working, went to football, realised I didn't want Saints to get promoted and go back to the Premier League and bother with VAR, but I don't really know what I want us to do if we don't get promoted, because I don't want to stay in that league anymore. Maybe just get rid of VAR in the Prem. That'd be the best way of doing it.
I found something out about Saints, Neil. Did you know?
Oh, yeah.
Rishi Sunak is an avid Southampton fan, apparently.
Never.
He knows all the stats about it. Definitely isn't, just jumping on the bandwagon. So I didn't know that.
Oh,
he'd be your favourite now.
Yeah, well, he was my favourite anyway, but
right.
other than Boris, obviously. But, no, he waved at me at St Mary's.
Did he?
3 months ago, yeah. At me. It was me.
You?
Yeah. I was literally within 2 yards of him. So, yeah.
He'll be working at the bar soon.
He may be this time next year.
Paul, what about your week?
Hello.
What have you been doing?
My week's been full of excitement. I have spent a large portion of it travelling the south of England. I've been to Essex and I've been to Kent and I've been to Bournemouth. When I was
Lyndhurst.
And Lyndhurst, which is quite a nice little place, actually. I was accosted by this strange fellow with his little dog. He made me take him for a coffee, but
chair there.
Yeah, it was all right, wasn't it? Nice and comfy. The dog was friendly. The fella less so, but And then today I've been to the hospital for the latest of my diabetic eye check things. So they're just sort of coming back to normal now because they put these drops in that dilate your pupils and you can just see everything in the world. So yeah, it's fantastic.
That was episode 151. If anyone wants to go back on that,
Your Wikipedia page, that continuity of Paul's updates.
Good.
Well, listen, I have to keep that up to date, and it's a big job.
Good. Well, there you go. You met Neil, didn't you, Paul? That's just for the listeners.
I did meet Neil, yeah.
That was a strange dog. So we just know.
Little dog.
Yeah. Darren, what about you? Well, you've got loads of stuff here. I can see it on the thing.
I just went for it. Yeah, I'm having a great week. Just normally we go away on holiday if we have a week off, but this week we've had loads of just bits and bobs to do and just enjoying a bit of downtime, really. So we went to see Poets of the Fall on Friday, who are the old gods of Asgard from Alan Wake. They've released their single on YouTube. Go and watch it if you haven't already, from the game. It's fantastic. Great 10 minutes.
Did they play that?
No, sadly. They did play a couple of songs from Control, but they haven't played any of the newest stuff yet. Right. So hopefully they will in the future, because it sounds amazing. Finished the Fall of the House of Usher, which is Mike Flanagan's latest series. For those who liked Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, stuff like that, we really enjoyed it. Thought it was brilliant. Been doing other bits and bobs, really. Bought an air fryer, which is my new favourite toy in the world. So I've been using that. Car passed its MOT. And the cat got neutered, so a nice mix. Oh, we went to see the Marvels as well. Not as bad as everyone's saying it is. Right. So I quite enjoyed it, actually, mainly because it was an hour and a half. It was about 3 hours long. But yeah, it was all right. Maybe you don't have to rush to cinema to see it, but it's worth watching when it comes onto streaming. I think it's not too bad.
What a list, Darren! That was impressive.
I know. Oh, we finished Loki as well. That was good. That was really good.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I'll give that a go.
It's the best week ever.
Oh, it's really good, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. I don't know about his cat. He hasn't had the best week. But...
Oh, he's fine. He's still got his little cone on to stop him scratching at his bits and stuff, but or where his bits used to be. But he's fine. Yeah. So we can take the cone off tomorrow, I think, and he'll be all right.
Oh, good. Well done, Darren. I like that. I'm really impressed by that week. I'm always winning an air fryer on emails. I don't think I've ever. I think one day I'll see the air fryer.
You've got to buy yourself an air fryer.
Just buy it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. What have I done this week? I recommend a TV show that's been around for a while, but it's on its third series called The Morning Show. It's on Apple. I really enjoy it. Some great writing in there. And Jennifer Anderson, Reese Witherspoon, and John Hamm's in this latest one. It's very, very good. That's it. That's the weeks. That's a week. But what games have we been playing? That's the key thing here. Let's start with Neil. Because you just put one up on the site. It's very moment.
Yeah. About an hour ago, my review for Teardown went live. This has picked up, I think, quite a bit of interest through the streaming community and Twitch and all that lot over on PC. It's now come to console, but it's an open world kind of sandboxy, destroy everything that you want to destroy type of game with a mission structure built in as well. So I gave it 4.5 out of 5, Paul's favourite score. But I
was waiting for that.
I was really impressed with it. It's been built. All the worlds are built out of like voxel visuals, so it's very Minecrafty and very boxy like that. But absolutely everything is destructible. So you can take it down however you see fit, whether that's with a sledgehammer, firing a shotgun at it, jumping in a crane and swinging around the big arm or whatever, or just throwing kind of gas canisters at walls and things like that. But yeah, it's really impressive, and there is absolutely tons of content in there. Massive mission campaign missions, which I think run to about 40 levels, all with different kind of structures. So some of them you'll be needing to kind of raise a building to the floor. Other ones you have to steal somebody's sports cars and put them in the sea. But the problem being the sports cars are all they're all kind of hooked up to alarms. So as soon as you move one of them, you get 60 seconds before the police come and get you. So you have to set everything up for your kind of your heist or whatever you're doing, and then kind of action it all within basically a minute. You can make that time a little bit longer if you want to make it a bit easier for yourself, or a bit harder, a bit shorter. But yes, a really, really good game. And aside from the campaign, you've got a full sandbox. with a creative mode in there. So if you want to build stuff, you can. There's challenges, there's mods that have been brought over from PC. It's a huge game. It takes maybe an hour and a half to kind of understand how to kind of approach everything. But once that kind of clicks and you're away, then it's really, really good.
Wow. I really like the look of this. How much is it, Neil? Can you remember?
I think it's 25 quid.
Oh, that's good.
Which is an absolute bargain. I think there are 3 versions, so there's standard, deluxe, and ultimate. I think the ultimate includes the season pass, and there's content promised into 2024. I think until the end of 2024. And then you got deluxe as well in between that, which adds some mod packs and stuff, I believe. But yeah, it's very impressive indeed.
Yeah, it does look great. Really good. Good. Any questions about Teardown?
I have a question.
Go.
So how does it go about making sure that the gimmick of knocking stuff down doesn't get boring? Is it just a variety of different implements you can use, or what makes it?
Well, no, there's only maybe 7 or 8 tools that you get, and they unlock slowly as you go through the campaign. So you start with your sledgehammer, you get access to a blowtorch, you've got a spray can, which is surprisingly decent because you're going around this big area and you think, oh yeah, I need to go there, I need to go there, I need to go there. And so you can kind of mark on the walls your kind of path of direction or whatever for when you action it.
Interesting.
You've got a shotgun, you've got gas canisters, you've got little throw-in bomb things. So you've got loads of tools to knock stuff down, but not every mission requires you to knock stuff down. So some of them you might need to get a safe that's in a building. So you go over to the building, knock a big hole in the wall first of all, obviously, because why use a door? And then try and work out how to move this safe. So you might have like a crane with a hook on the end, so you might be able to get that in there. Or you might use a forklift truck or something. But it's kind of like endless options, really. Anything that's there you can use, and it's just the fun is playing around and seeing what you can do.
It does sound good. Looks good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really detailed, actually, for a voxel world. It's really detailed. And when you're, I was having a play around in the sandbox mode, and I was just chucking loads of gas canisters and whatever, and the whole place was on fire, and it looked really, really good.
I like that. There's other people making creative things. Neil just sets the whole thing alight.
I may have put in my review that the creative side of it wasn't quite for me. But some of the mods are quite clever. There's somebody, I think the mods were all made on PC, and then the devs bring them over to the console side so you can download them for free. I think that's right. But there's one of them that's you get given a load of cars and you have to just race them around a track. But your car is attached to a bomb. So as soon as the timer goes down, you blow up. And so you've got time pickups and whatever you can pick up on the way around this track. Really cleverly done. Really good.
Wow. Good. Thank you, Neil. Paul, what have you got?
Hello. I have got another game that I would like to talk about. I've not seen this Teardown. This sounds quite interesting. I might have a look for that one. But I've been playing a game called Persona 5 Tactica. He says almost certain that that's what it was called. Anyway, basically, I'm a big fan of the Persona RPGs.
Yeah.
I believe that you've taken the mickey out of me about that before. What they've done now is taken all of the characters from the Persona games and put them into a tactical kind of strategy game almost. So I don't know if you're old enough to remember Final Fantasy Tactics. Well, I know you are, Gareth. I don't know about the other two. But it's a similar situation to that. You take characters that you put them in an entirely different game world with different mechanics, and fun ensues. The graphical style of the game is fantastic. It's really, really good. The gameplay is surprisingly deep. It's a proper tactical one where you can move a certain number of squares and then attack, and the enemies then attack you, and so on and so on. And it's just absolutely brilliant. There's literally nothing wrong with it, and I had no hesitation in giving it a full house when I reviewed it.
Wow.
So there you go. It's absolutely brilliant. Really, really good.
Wow. I don't know what to say. Darren, Neil.
Are you just shocked because it's not a 4.5?
No, I think he wanted to give it a 4.5, but he felt worried about the 4.5 thing, so he went for a 5.
Yeah, that's it. You know, go big or go home, as they say.
Is it good?
It's brilliant, mate. It's really, really good.
Okay. Right.
I think the art style looks brilliant. I think it looks really good.
Very, very good. The animation and everything is really good. There's so many different tactics you can use. You can mix and match your characters. It's a proper Persona game, but with a tactical edge, and it's really, really good.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah. Good. Darren, any questions? Neil, any questions about that?
Not really. I'm not really familiar with the Persona games. I know they're really popular and everyone's chuffed that they've made it over to Xbox. So it's something I need to dig into a bit deeper. But they all seem to get really good write-ups from you, Paul, and from a lot of other outlets as well, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. That's because they're all very good games, my friend.
Am I right saying that there's 4 of them now on Xbox? None this time last year, and now there's suddenly 4. Is that about right?
Yeah, there's 4, and there's another one coming out soon as well, another version of Persona 3.
This is what gets me. I don't understand how they can do this. How can you have Persona 5? I can see Persona 5 Tactica and Royal was the other one.
Yeah,
maybe. So what are they doing with Persona 3? Because that was
Persona 3
is the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and now they're making one. I think the version's called Reload that they're making.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure whether it's just a remake or what, but you know what, Persona 3 was a great game as well, as was Persona 4 Golden, I think it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all very good games. So I'm looking forward.
Where's number 1 and 2? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. You would have to ask Atlas and Sony about that.
I would do that right now.
Excellent. Get on an email.
Will you be playing this, Neil?
No, not at all. No.
Okay, right.
There's too much story for Neil.
Darren, what have you been playing?
Well, on the subject of you're not playing games, I've been reviewing Indoor Kickball this week, which is pretty much what it says on the tin. So basically, you play a game of kickball in and around different rooms of the everyday house, so bedroom, bathroom, living room, and it works a bit like baseball. So the person who's pitching the kickball stands in the middle and throws it towards the kicker, who replaces the batter, I guess, in a game of baseball, and you have to kick it as hard as you can, and you have to run around each base and score runs before you get tagged out. And you can get tagged out in various ways. So someone can hurl the ball at you, they can beat you to the base you're approaching, so you can get caught out that way. They can tag these little ghosts which roam the field. I don't really understand what that's about, but that's also a way to get caught out. And that's pretty much it, really. You can play quick games, or you can play a season mode, which is just a string of 1v1 games against a load of AI opponents. Rather interestingly, though, on like the splash screen when it loads up, there's 4 kids playing, but you can actually only play 1v1 as far as I could tell, and it does say 2v2 on the store page as well, but it is just 1v1, which I thought was a little bit misleading. But unfortunately, it's very much a one-trick pony, so smashing stuff is fun for a little bit, but there's very little variation to the game. You can unlock different like clothing and you unlock the different rooms to play in as you go, so you can customize your characters. But to be honest, it all looks very bland, for you wanting to use a kind of word, and it just kind of gets quite repetitive and boring quite quickly, and it is about 12 or 13 quid, I think, as well. So it's not the cheapest game out there. In terms of when you're pitching the ball and kicking it, you are able to kind of have some influence over the direction of travel, but it doesn't really flow very well. So it feels like the ball can just go anywhere, and then it'll bounce around the room, and there'll be a little yellow board around it. So if you catch it when the yellow board is there, you catch them out. As soon as it touches the floor, that disappears. But it can like roll along shelves and then washing up baskets and stuff without touching the floor. So you can be caught out really, really easily. So I had to dial it down to easy to actually start winning some games, because I found that the AI was just catching me out all the time. So yeah, it's not great, to be honest. A bit, it kind of doesn't have many ideas apart from smashing stuff up by kicking a ball around the house, and it doesn't take it any further than that, which is a shame. So I think I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 in the end.
Right.
Blimey. Is there any point, does a parent come in and give you a clip round the ear for smashing stuff up?
No, which would be good if they did, because there are achievements, and it says stuff like, get told off by dad, I think it is, or get told off by mum, because you can get an achievement for smashing like hidden items in the room. They're hidden in plain sight, but you don't know which one it is to get the achievement, for example. Or you can kick the ball straight through the window and score a home run, which is like an instant you score that run. So it alludes to it, but it doesn't actually realize it. So it's just a kind of a very lazy way of doing it, I guess. That would be good, but no, it doesn't happen.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Good. There you go. Indoor kickball, game that none of us are going to play, but poor Darren had
to.
Right. Let me talk about a game. I'm talking about a game called... Well, I review a lot of horror games for the Xbox Hub. I generally review the horror games that no one else wants to do. And sometimes there's some gems in there. And I did a game called Stray Souls about 3 weeks ago that I thought might be a gem. It kind of looked interesting, but it wasn't a gem at all. It wasn't.
Should have been great. A gem, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should have been.
Should have been.
The premise is you're this kind of 18-year-old who's inherited your grandma's house in sort of middle America, and you start the game in the house, and you find some stuff about your grandma's past, being involved in some kind of cult, and you then get you're an online sort of like dating chat for you're chatting to someone who's weirdly across the road in the house opposite, and who then turns out to be your sister, and then joins in, and then basically it all goes to hell, and your grandma comes out to try to kill you, and you flee the house, and then you go on a sort of like Silent Hill, early Resident Evil kind of campaign, shooting monsters and everything. Everything about it is kind of borrowed. The combat's awful. The kind of puzzle bits of it, those kind of Resident Evil puzzle bits, they're the most interesting bits, but there's not enough of those. But the narrative is dodgy, and it's just buggy as hell. So you just got lots of shaking kind of frames as you're going up the stairs. It's also just in the narrative, there's sort of like, did this great bit when the sort of grandma appears in the first level, and it goes to the grandma sort of behind. And it's like she puts a sort of like weird, it's really good, but puts her head round corridors looking at him. And the guy goes, "Oh my God, like this. And then goes, "Oh, I'm just going to go off into the kitchen for a bit." And then go, "Oh my God!" And then just forget about that, and then goes off. So there's no kind of like consequence of stuff. It's just really, it's just not great at all. It's just so underdeveloped and borrowed from too many things. Doesn't kind of work, which is a shame. It was a struggle, a big struggle.
Can I just jump in there?
Mm.
Yesterday, a massive patch went out for the game.
Mm. Well, that
3 weeks after launch.
Yeah, that patch might have helped with the kind of juddering, but I don't think it helped with the story and the combat and things like that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the patch notes now. There's quality of life improvements to the mechanics, the jump scares, the aiming, the boss fights. Daniel no longer sways. There's overhauled visuals. There's an inability to aim. There's adjusted flashlights. There's re-recorded stuff. It is so long, but should have been there at day one, shouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, there you go. Stray Souls. maybe it's good now. Maybe it's great.
What did you give it, Gareth?
I think I gave it a 2. I think the puzzle stuff was good.
blimey.
The puzzle stuff saved it. Because there's some good bits in it like that. And those kind of elements really work. There's kind of really neat puzzles. And I kind of like just potting around this house at the beginning. But it's just when you go into combat and you're like, suddenly you're just like, you're sort of going, I don't believe this. I don't believe it. Let's shoot a monster. Let's shoot another one. I don't believe it. Supernatural things don't exist. Bang, bang, bang. There's another weird thing that
Is it Victor Meldrew who's in the game?
Yeah. Yeah.
So reference all the kids will get.
Yeah, I'm showing my age.
There they go. Stray Souls. Let's do another one. Neil, have you got another one?
I've got another one, yeah. I've also been playing and just reviewed Berserk Recharged, which is the latest from Atari. They've been taking some of their older games from like the 80s, recharging them and revamping them. So they've pushed out Centipede and Missile Command and Asteroids and loads of them. They've probably done 8 or 9 of them so far. And the latest one is Berserk, which originally came out in 1980, I think. So probably Atari 2600, maybe. Is that about then?
Yeah.
And they've now pushed it out to the Xbox and PlayStation, Switch, and Atari VCS as well, I think. It is probably one of the better recharged games. I'm not sure whether that's because I've come into it really fresh. I don't remember the original game. I was only 4 years old in 1980, so I think they can let me off that. But I really enjoyed it, and I kept sinking the hours in, and it's just like really addictive. So you just play as a little guy who's got to get through a load of single screens. So you rock up in a room, you've got enemies in it, you shoot the enemies, you can then move on to the next room. You shoot the enemies, you move on to the next room. For every enemy you kill, your combo builds, etc., etc., etc. Problem is, if you hang around for anything more than about 10 seconds in a room, a guy called Otto appears, and he's just like a massive neon ball with a bit of a manic grin on him. He's indestructible, so once he turns up, it's best to kind of leg it out of there anyway. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It's got the usual recharge kind of structure. So there's an arcade mode which is just endless. I think it's endless. I got to about level 48 or something like that. Annoyingly, there's an achievement for level 50, which I can't quite get to. And then there's a load of missions which are kind of like handcrafted. So the devs have kind of made this maze themselves that you have to work your way through. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Looks good. It's got kind of all the neon lights and whatever that most of the recharge games come with, and it just feels really fresh. So yeah, any questions?
I can't remember this game at all.
I can't. No. I'm normally quite good at arcade games.
Do you remember Frenzy?
Yeah, I remember that.
Frenzy was the sequel to Berserk. Now I played Frenzy because I think that was kind of mid 80s. But yeah, I'd never heard of Berserk before. So yeah.
Yeah, good.
I have a question, if I may.
Go on then.
The recharge
is an easy one.
Well, it's an opinion one, so it's not a general knowledge test. Don't worry. It looks like with Berserk, it might have found a new audience, and I guess that's part of the charm with this recharge series. Have you got any other games that have come out that you've kind of discovered for the first time, or any on your wish list that you want them to give the recharge treatment to in the future?
I don't remember back in the 80s, so I don't have a wish list. I'll just be quite happy with whatever they throw out, really. I've enjoyed playing Missile Command again. I used to love that game and enjoyed that here. Centipede, Asteroids, the standard ones. There was one called, what was it? Was it Quantum? I think that Rich had reviewed. That looks quite interesting as well.
I've not played that. I guess it's more of a Richard question, I guess. But yeah.
But no, in terms of games that I want them to recharge, no, I'm not the person to ask. I don't remember what happened in the 80s. The 90s have been since then, and don't ask me what happened in the 90s either.
Fair enough.
Horace Goes Skiing. That's not one of those, is it?
No, but
yeah,
there was a game that I reviewed 2 or 3 years ago that was exactly like it.
Oh, really?
It was, in actual fact, it was called. Oh, was it called Horatio Goes Skiing or something? Was it? Is that what it was called?
Oh,
hang on,
look at that.
Hang on, talk amongst yourself.
Yeah.
I need to find that out.
Find that out. We'll go on to Paul's game. Paul, what have you got?
Hello. My second game is called Achilles Legends Untold. And you won't be surprised to hear that it's set in ancient Greece, rather, not in ancient Greek. That would be really hard to understand. Shut your face. Yeah, basically, I was quite surprised by this game. I didn't know anything about it going into it. I was kind of expecting it to be a sort of tactical strategy kind of game, but it actually turned out to be an action RPG like Diablo, but set in ancient Greece and with Achilles as the hero. So you start off the story at the siege of Troy, and then you somehow end up being dead, but then kind of not dead. So you're stuck between the worlds, and you have to try and figure out what's going on and how to get out of the situation. The story of it was very good. The look of the game was really nice as well. It evoked the ancient Greek world very well. The only issue I had with it was that the combat felt numb. In Diablo, when you're attacking and using magic and swinging your sword about, you feel really powerful and it feels like you're hitting something. But in this game, it was all just a bit numb. There was a lack of feel to the combat. But other than that, it was a very enjoyable game. And I believe the review's live on the site now, and I gave it a 4.
Oh, good.
I'm staying away from the 4.5s.
Why is that? Why are you doing that?
Just because people keep taking the mickey out of me, Neil. We'll arrange a call with HR afterwards. Don't you worry.
Okay. Again, I'm just here.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to raise a complaint.
Neil, have you got any more information
Bullying in the workplace
about the Horace Goes Skiing remake?
Yes, it was Horatio Goes Snowboarding.
Hey,
that was the name of the game.
Very different.
Yeah.
Was it inspired by any chance?
It was, well, yeah. I reviewed it in December 2021, gave it a 3 out of 5.
Oh,
so, yeah, if you want a bit of Horace Goes Skiing, go and find that.
Yeah, Horatio, that's good. Darren, what's your final game?
So my second game today is a game called Thirsty Suitors, which caught my eye at Annapurna's showcase. I think it must have been last year, first of all, and I think it popped up again this year. But essentially, you play as a young lady called Jala, and she's come back to her hometown for the first time in a while, and she's got a string of exes. So both male and female. She's got loads of exes that she's been with over the years, and the story kind of all revolves around her family, her relationships, her culture, finding herself. But the way that they tell the story is brilliant. So, for example, you'll bump into like exes, whether it in like the local diner or out and about in the town, and you'll enter like a battle scenario where you have to resolve your differences with them, but it actually plays out as a turn-based battle. So you can pull off all sorts of different moves, and she's very kind of acrobatic almost, so she's flipping around everywhere, and you can put status effects onto them, so you can make them filled with rage, you can make them thirsty as well for you, and do all sorts of different things, and it's very dialogue heavy, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I've only put a couple of hours into it, but it's very, very stylistic, and it feels very genuine in terms of the characters that it's representing. I'm just really kind of hooked by it at the moment, and that's what I love about the games that pop up at the Annapurna showcases. They're all very kind of different arty style games. So this is from a studio called Outer Loop Games, and you get around. Jallo's a keen skateboarder as well, so it's a bit of kind of like Tony Hawk's in there as well. So in the more open areas, you can grind on rails and pull off combos, and then there's certain areas where you can pull a finisher move to rack up points. And I'm just really enjoying exploring the world and meeting all the characters at the moment. So hopefully a review will be up and live by the end of the week or so.
It does look good, but is it relatable to, like, say, someone like me and Neil in our late 30s or Paul in his late 50s? It looks a bit young to me.
Hang on a minute. You were in your late 30s in
Thanks, Gareth.
Yeah.
Give me that.
It depends what you were like 10, 20 years ago. So it depends on your experiences, I guess. I think it's regardless of whether you personally identify with it, it's a charming story, and the characters are really well realised and fleshed out. So the family dynamic's really good. Like, the mum is very sassy towards her daughter as well, but there's clearly a deep bond there because she left with a partner and has returned after that relationship went south, basically. And you've also got what is basically your subconscious that talks to you at the same time. So there's a bit of internal dialogue going on, and then dialogue with the characters. So it's as I say, like it feels like it's got its own kind of unique identity, which in a very busy games market these days, it's less and less often where a game really grabs me like that. So I'm really enjoying it.
Good, thank you, Darren. I've not really got another game to talk about. Alan Wake 2 is brilliant still. I haven't finished it. I'm still loving it. Spider-Man 2 is good as well. I'm enjoying that. Load screens are amazing. But it's still Spider-Man. It's the same as the first game. But
has it annoyed you that it's two Spider-Man?
not as much as you. No.
still annoyed me. I played it this week. It's still annoying me.
But I'm
not going back until one of them disappears.
And they do disappear. You do go on your own little journey. Let's talk about some news. And then we should talk about the big thing, the big reveal. We don't know much information. Is, first of all, the GTA, since we were last on, is a trailer for it is coming. It's been rumoured. People have been having breakdowns on Twitter and socials about it for about a month. But it's we're going to get a trailer for GTA 6 in December, which probably might be, people are saying they might do their own thing, but it might be connected with the Games Awards thing on the 7th. Is it called the Games Awards?
Yeah, Game Awards.
Yeah. So GTA 6 trailer is coming. I know Paul hates GTA. I can't remember about Neil. I don't know about you, Darren, actually.
I don't hate it. I've enjoyed all of them. But I certainly don't go nuts about it. So I'd personally like to go back and play GTA 1 again.
Yeah.
The
like
top-down one.
Properly.
Yeah.
Properly
Top-down was
revamped.
great. Yeah. What do you? I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because first of all, just about GTA 6, everyone's kind of speculating on what it's going to be, and the rumor is they spent £2 billion on it already, and it is. When GTA 5 came out 10 years ago, it was still a kind of satirical thing about society, wasn't it? About then it was about Pop Idol and yoga and the kind of like that's California lifestyle. I think the world's maybe got a bit, satire's a bit dead because the world is so mad as well. Satire, the real world's caught up with satire in a sense sometimes. So it's. Do you think GTA will, and the way Red Dead 2 went, which was much more of a kind of narrative and a sort of human story in a sense about, it was quite you still can go off rampaging if you want to, but it was quite a sort of like a really nice narrative in a sense, or a very emotional narrative. Do you think they might go back to that? I'm sorry, do you think they might go back to the sort of GTA 5 wacky guy like Trevor and all that stuff? Or do you feel like they might settle in a much more kind of serious story? It's hard. Darren.
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that truth is stranger than fiction these days, definitely. I honestly don't know. I think that's a really good question. I think, like Neil, I've played GTA in the past. I'm not mad on it. I'm not one of these people who kind of still plays GTA online religiously, and it's still got a huge following. The one I probably played properly most recently was actually 4. I didn't really play 5 as much as I wanted to. But there's rumours that it's going to be set across different locations and stuff in this one. So I hope that it has. I hope that it keeps its kind of sense of humour. But I do like a really strong narrative, and I do like, for example, going back to Tommy Vercetti in Vice City. That was inspired by a load of gangster films, wasn't it? Like Carlito's Way and Scarface and stuff. So I do hope that they have a proper story, and it's, you know, and it does focus on some key characters, but I don't want it to get too gritty and too serious, because for me, that's not what GTA is about. But at the same time, the world is more sensitive these days as well. So it's been a very controversial game, hasn't it? It's been kind of, the people have tried to pin the fact that there's real life violence happening because of this game. So whatever they do, I think they're probably going to have to think about it very, very carefully. And maybe this is why it's taken so long for them to kind of reveal anything and release it. And also the fact that 5's been released over 3 generations, and you could argue there doesn't need to be a GTA 6 anytime soon. They could not release it for 4 or 5 years, and they'll probably be absolutely fine. So.
Paul, have you got any thoughts? I know you don't like it.
I literally couldn't care less.
There you go. Good.
It's just not even a blip on my radar. GTA is just... I've tried to play them all, and the last one I think I enjoyed was San Andreas. But other than that, no, not all these recent ones just leave me cold.
Good. There you go. That's from Paul. Neil, do you think when you... I mean, I was thinking about GTA 3 the other day, which was released in 2001, and they just dropped it. I remember it sort of like in the shops on a Friday, and no one knew about it.
That's what happened back then.
But not as that was the matter. And Rockstar have always kind of done their own thing. Anyway, they've not really gone the thing. I think there might be a surprise with this. Not that it's going to be released after the trailer at all, but I think they might. I think something will come with this that's completely different from anything else we've seen. They're very good at that with Rockstar. And do you think? No.
Yes.
Yes. Good.
Again, I'm not quite as hating as Paul is on it, but I'm not really that fussed either. Really, I've always. Is it really that funny? Is it that wacky?
Nope.
Really?
I don't think it's wacky. I think it was more satirical. I mean, but the character in the last GTA 5, the character sort of Trevor, was the most...
Trevor? But the other two were just...
Yeah, were normal.
Guys.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But it was more that character, Trevor. You've never seen that in a video game before, and you never will.
I played Saints Row.
Yeah, but Saints Row's like a... It's like Iceland of the GTA.
I think it's on the kind of similar kind of thread though, when GTA 4, 5, when it came on to 360 and then Xbox One and stuff, there weren't as many big games out. Games seem to be bigger these days anyway. There's lots of big open games, so I don't think GTA comfortably will automatically sit on top of that particular mountain where it would have done in the past. In terms, it was like seen as the king of open world games in terms of what you could do, and you could go off and do the little side missions. I think they're going to have to do something else to try and retain that, because in 4 with CJ and stuff, you like manage your character stats, or in Red Dead Redemption, go off and play a game of poker and stuff. They're going to have to do something, I think, not a gimmick, but they're going to have something because to pull people in the same way, because there's so many huge. I mean, look at Baldur's Gate 3, for example. I mean, Ryan is obsessed with it, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in a bit. But it's hopefully coming to Xbox soon. There's going to be a lot out there. I think it's going to have to. It can't just rely on its heritage to be definitive.
I agree with you completely. But the thing that we forget about that developer is they are very good, and they always kind of like. And it's good that they've had this kind of like long, we've had 2 Rockstar games in 10 years. And they've put the time into this, like when they did Red Dead, they were working on that for 7 years. The actors were, before it came out. So and we know, some people have been doing this on GTA 6, but I think you're right. I think they have to, and I think hopefully they've been aware of that. And we'll see things that we've never seen before, maybe.
I think you can be sure of one thing: they won't release it until it's ready.
No.
That's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah.
Well, remember the HD collection though, or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a rare miss for
point.
Rockstar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think
rare miss, the only miss, isn't it? Really?
Where there was something else, wasn't there?
Has there been others?
Did I imagine it? I think there was it just was a bit of shaky ground for a bit, so maybe they're taking their time with this as well, just to make sure that they get it right and kind of drip feed information. I'm not sure if I agree with you, Gareth. I don't think there's going to be a deluge of information at once, but hopefully I'm proved wrong.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on December, the trailer for it. Another thing, as Darren's just kind of revealed then, is the Baldur's Gate 3, which has been on PC, of course, and on PlayStation since September, is the developers have come and said it's coming by the end of the year still, and you're going to know more at the Game Awards. So looks like the hint is that we're going to get a release date then. Is that right?
That's what they seem to be saying. I mean, I know Richard had a theory that maybe it's the perfect opportunity to shadow drop it, because Game Awards is on the 7th of December. It's saying it's going to be released this year. That's like 3 weeks left of the year. So potentially that could happen. I don't know.
Game Pass?
It does feel like that. It feels like that.
Don't know about Game Pass. That's a good one. Good thought. I'm not sure. It's big.
Yeah. We're going to have to hold off, Neil, with the Game of the Year stuff, because that's got to be put in there, isn't it?
It probably will be. It's had a very good reception on the other platforms.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like,
hurry up and release it then.
the thing that
around for?
I don't know if you guys saw the story that having to make it work for the Xbox Series S has actually resulted in them making it smaller on all the other platforms as well.
I did see that.
Yeah, I thought that was quite a handy little thing there. So thank you, Series S, for reducing the install size.
Positive parity news. That's it.
Absolutely, that's what we want.
Good. Well done, Paul. I like you seeing the light through the darkness.
There you go. I'm like a little ray of sunshine, Gareth.
Every week.
Every week. There's been a couple of game things. We thought 14th that Ark Survival game, which we talked about last week, was coming out on the 14th, and then it wasn't. As the 14th came and went, we realised it's not coming out, and they've said they've slightly delayed it on Xbox due to some unexpected issues. I think they said it's coming at the end of the month, or that's right, maybe December again. They haven't really said, I think. That's going to be a mess, isn't it, that game, for a while?
It's very small delays, isn't it? It's like, it'll be released in a few days. Oh, no, it'll be next week. Oh, no, it won't be this week, it'll be next week.
Yeah.
It does feel, I don't know what's going on, but I've never known a game to have such short-term delays and have them sequentially like this. Normally they'll just give themselves a few months. So I don't know what's stopping it coming out, but there's something going on.
Gangs of Sherwood, that keeps getting pushed back by a couple of weeks each time.
Does it?
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's currently now slated for the 30th of November, but it's all very quiet. It wouldn't surprise me if that one slips to next year as well.
Right. Okay. The game I completely forgot about until I saw the kind of news things with the Suicide Squad game.
Oh yeah.
Back in 2021 again, are we? Or whatever it was when that was revealed.
Yeah. And that's coming out in February. I forgot about this because all the pre-order stuff is out, like the different boxes and everything else. But yeah, it's coming February the 2nd, 2024. That wasn't on my radar at all for next year. The game that got a bit of a bad... Well, we flagged it off, didn't we, when we saw the kind of like the PlayStation showcase of it? Yeah.
Online only and all that.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully that's going to be good. We'll see. Hopefully we're going to have something. It's not... I might get on my nerves a bit, but yeah, we'll see. But that's February the 2nd. It's looking busy at the start of the year. Actually, there's quite a few bits and bobs coming out, isn't there?
There is. It's that Prince of Persia game I'm getting more and more excited about, actually, as well.
Yeah.
You know, the cel-shaded one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
they can push that back, Darren, don't worry.
Oh, no. I know it's Ubisoft, but please, no.
Yeah, they can do it.
It's coming out just after Skull and Bones, right?
Very good point.
So we'll probably get some more dates and stuff in that first quarter on the Game Awards, probably, won't we? There'll be a lot of kind of like maybe some.
I feel like that you're right. I don't think there's going to be lots and lots of big reveals, but yeah, kind of more concrete information on a lot of ongoing projects. I think you're right there.
Should we have a look at quickly the Golden Joystick Award winners? Did you ever look at this list? Anything
Nope.
that anything you didn't look at that, did you, Paul? Jeez,
I didn't look at
I
it.
had
No.
a look.
Thank you, Darren and Neil. Didn't look at it
You're
at all.
such a bloody Tuesday.
I've had a look.
Oh, there you go. It's good.
You lie.
Oh,
No,
Paul.
no,
I'm looking right now.
There you go. So you haven't had a look until just when Gareth mentioned it.
You could have just styled it out, Paul, but you've revealed your hand now. And
Do you know what? Honesty is always the best policy, mate.
Baldur's Gate seems to have got quite a lot. Well, actually, no, it's quite a variation of stuff. They got Baldur's Gate did storytelling, best visual design, best game community, PC Game of the Year. So it wasn't that much, but it was the ultimate game of the year. Still playing award, No Man's Sky. I really like that. God, No Man's Sky. That's hours of that. And best game expansion, Cyberpunk. I've still got to play that. 2077. That will be my next year when it gets to it. Sea of Stars. Has anyone played Sea of Stars here? Best indie game?
No.
Not yet, no.
I
was glad to see Cocoon, though, Breakthrough Award.
Yeah.
Although they spelt it wrong here. And Alan Wake 2 got Critics' Choice Award. It's a bit like the BAFTAs and the Oscars, this, isn't it? It gives you an idea of probably what's going to do well at the Game Awards, because people widely think Game of the Year is between Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2. So it'll be interesting to see which comes out on top. Interesting that Resident Evil 4 got PlayStation Game of the Year, though. I don't understand. That's multi-platform, so I don't understand. Whereas Starfield got Xbox.
Are you saying that there's been no PlayStation exclusives this year? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Spider-Man 2's come out, hasn't it?
I was going to say Spider-Man 1.5 out, isn't it?
Horizon came out in February, I think.
Final Fantasy.
Well received. Final Fantasy, yeah. There's not been like as many as there have been in previous years, I don't think, but I just find that odd.
Yeah, no, it is really odd.
Honest. I'll just pick a couple out on that list.
Go on.
Yeah. Best gaming hardware, PSVR 2.
we saw that.
That's the only one I wanted to pick out. I just saw it there, sitting in the middle. I thought, well, yeah, that's not bad.
What was the best Xbox game?
Starfield.
Oh, there you go then. That makes sense, doesn't it?
But I think Starfield fans were a bit annoyed. They didn't feel like it didn't get the recognition it did. But yeah. But yeah, it's there. That's the list. That was okay. No complaints. One bit more of news before we go. This is for Paul. It's the only bit of news he's put on since 2021. England win the Euro Fishing Championships. Is this like the game? They've won the game. Tell us about it, Paul.
No. Basically, there's a new championship just come out, the Euro Feeder Championships, and the inaugural event was held in England. And England not only won the contest, English anglers came the 1, 2, and 3 in the individual tables as well. So they absolutely battered the rest of Europe.
So I thought this was
game bank holiday.
Well, we have to wait and see.
World.
So we're taking down Europe.
I thought this was game connected.
On the podcast, and this is just a fishing story.
I thought it was game connected. I thought there was something. I thought it was connected to the
game
fishing
game.
At
all. You said you wanted news. You didn't say it had to be game related.
Oh my god!
So there you go. We can talk about politics if you want, though, because Labour's in the middle of a meltdown. It appears. So I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, because it's all going well for the human rights, isn't it?
Listen, the old Conservatives, Rishi Sunak looks like a steady hand now with the mess that Keir Starmer's making.
Did I tell you he waved at me once?
Yeah. Keir Starmer as well.
He'd be waving us all from that bar. I'm
glad that England is well at fishing or whatever.
Yeah. England are the best at fishing. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Well done, England.
Well done, England.
Come on, England, sweet Caroline.
Yeah. I'm still looking for my bank holiday.
Yeah,
one day.
This is like when you ask someone to do the hoovering in the living room, and they throw the hoover through the living room window and say, "That's the problem. I don't know how to use it." It's like Paul with this. So we won't have to do another news item ever again.
Is that something that happens in London a lot? That
Yeah.
Hoovers just get slung
They
out the
do.
window?
They do. What are we looking forward to next week, you lot? Let's start with Darren.
Oh dear. Well, from today, actually, I've cheated a bit. So the final series of The Crown is on Netflix. Part 1, 4 episodes, I think it is, and then part 2 is second week of December, I want to say. So obviously with the final series, it's got Diana in it and covers her death and stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to how they kind of portray it, because I think it's Elizabeth Debicki she's called. She's fantastic, who plays Diana. She's uncanny. So I think that'll be good. And then we're just having a few people over Saturday for some drinks and some games and stuff. So looking forward to a chilled rest of the week.
Good. What about you, Neil?
I'm looking forward to playing next week Train Valley 2 Community Edition. I really enjoyed playing Train Valley 1 a few years back, so that's coming to Xbox next week. I'm going to see Jules Holland on Saturday or Sunday. Not really sure if I like Jules Holland, but I had the option to go and get a ticket, so I thought, yeah, I'll take it and see what he's like. So hopefully he'll be half decent.
Is he performing, or are you seeing his show get recorded?
No. He's performing.
Oh,
he's on stage with his piano and his band.
Oh, cool.
So,
I quite like.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not. Yeah, you watch him New Year's Eve like everybody does, but then he disappears for the year. But I'm quite interested to see what he's like. So yeah,
good. What about you, Paul?
If you'd have said to me, I was going to say, if you'd have said to me, guess which concert I'm going to next week, Jules Holland would not have even been on the list.
Would it not?
No, you just, what I know about your musical taste from discussions we've had before, I'm find that surprising.
1990 skate punk and nothing else. Yeah, is that what
pretty much. Yeah.
Paul, do you know what?
I did look at Green Day tickets for Wembley. £278 for standing. I didn't really fancy that. Wow. So yeah,
it's £3.50 to see Jules Holland, is it?
I can't remember how much he was.
It's just down the Dog and Duck.
50 quid, maybe 50 quid, something like that.
I was more shocked by Train Valley 2 Community Edition. I'm looking forward to that. That was the one that shocked me, wasn't it?
I always thought this segment of the podcast, we're meant to talk about the games we're looking forward to next week, and well, there we go. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Good. Thank you for keeping it on track. Paul, what about you? What games are you looking forward to next week?
What games am I looking forward to next week? I'm quite looking forward to the DLC for Remnant 2.
Because that came out this week, so there we go.
Well, yeah, but I haven't got it yet, so I'm still looking forward to it. All right. And what other games am I looking forward to?
Forza's got a new track? DLC new track?
Forza's new track it's actually been released, so that big patch we were chatting about, Neil, is obviously out. Yas Marina is now in the game.
Yeah. So will it let us play races?
It worked all right last time, didn't it? It didn't throw us out. So
yeah, but it's when Darren turned up, it kind of went a bit. Well, it's
dodgy internet, isn't it? That's what it is.
I'm not getting on this game till it's patched.
It's patched. Yeah. So get on it, Gareth.
Yeah. Only 120 gigabytes.
Yeah, exactly. We need to see you in the game, Gareth. Anyway, so
good. I am looking forward to. I need to go back to Starfield and spend some time with it. I'm going to finish Alan Wake 2, and then I'm going to go right. Starfield's my couple of months on Starfield because I feel like I just stopped too early, and it's just review games, and I feel like it's gone off my radar a bit. Especially coming up to our game of the year.
Really played it.
Yeah.
I haven't played it at all.
I'm 6th in your game of the year.
I know. It's not my game of the year because I feel like it could be, but I've not played the bloody thing.
I may have to be editing this list a
little bit. That is quite a brutal takedown.
Yeah, have a look at it.
I'm going to just take everything out and just put Exoprimal in for all 10.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Now, if we need to get hold of you, where do we get hold of you? Neil?
Instagram, I guess. Neil363. Try that one.
It's like, I love the way we're all just giving up on socials now. Like the world. We're like, do we want to...
I really don't get socials at all. I don't understand. I know Darren likes
Darren's
to
good.
Twitter.
Darren's good.
Yeah,
I
but
do.
I don't understand.
Darren, where can we get you? Your rate.
So Twitter is the place, and my handle is at 27 Darren.
And Paul, what about you?
I am also on what was formerly called Twitter and Threads, and my handle is at TheXboxHub Paul.
Good.
Oh, Threads makes me laugh every week. I don't know why.
Threads is great. It's like Twitter if the people on it weren't awesome.
The person on it, you should say.
Well, yeah.
And you can find me in other things at GB Briley, Twitter, Twitch, stuff things. But for now, gentlemen, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of the show at www.thexboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.